know a lot of
But is it
people
gonna be
are
on
worried
land or is it
about
gonna,
that.
yes.
You know,
Yeah, but the, I'm gonna say,
But there are
well, I
there
dairy
isn't?
and a feedlot.
Oh,
The dairy's beautiful.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is 9 o'clock. You are at the regular board meeting of the Franklin County Board of Commissioners. It is Wednesday, August the 5th, 2026. I will call this meeting to order and ask that you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag Thank you. On a day like today, following our primary elections, it's just another reminder to be thankful for this country and what it stands for and how it works. Mr. Commissioner, I would ask for a motion to adopt our current agenda.
I move to adopt the current agenda as printed.
Second. Any comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next is public comment. If you have public comment, please come to the podium, and you would have 3 minutes for public comment.
Thank you, Commissioners. LaWanda Hatch, Franklin County. First, congratulations to Commissioner Didier on the primary results. I also wanted to correct something that I failed to correct last week, and that is the majority of the COVID money that the county got. It went for repairs, upgrades on county buildings, and I know the coroner's building, I never saw it being used to hire anybody, so I wanted to correct that statement that was made a few weeks ago. Also, I wanted to kind of speak a little bit about the Mendoza case because I know there's a lot of people who have come and spoken about the judges. And so I did a little bit of research, and I do understand that it's a prosecuting attorney that decides on charges and only they can reduce the charges. It has nothing to do with the judges. So that's something that someone needs to speak to the prosecuting attorney about. And then I went and did a lot of research about what's going on in our family courts because I know it's a problem all over the United States. And my heart breaks for these families. So what Washington State did is they actually put a lot of the authority into the bureaucracies. And so they have what's called understanding. I got this from the Pacific Northwest Family Law, which in Washington State, and it breaks down the myths and conceptions about parenting plans. So they create parenting plans. And the heartbreaking thing is that if you go in without a judge or without an attorney, you actually are. It's not that you're more vulnerable because when you look at, and I had one of these underlined, and I don't know which one that is, but it was really saying that the judge will look at. Oh, here it is. They'll look at how do Washington courts view conflict between parents when deciding custody. It says chronic conflict can harm children, so courts may reduce shared decision making. And they also will look at the communication style. So if someone comes in with an attorney, that attorney is going to be able to present, well, that parent can sit there just being as peaceful. And they look at the emotional reaction of parents. And as a mother or a father, you're going to be emotional. You've gone through a divorce. You love your children. You're desperate. You worry about them. And of course, you're going to be emotional. But that's the box that the bureaucracy created for these courts to operate under. So it's a really bad system. And the only way that you can really change it, there's a few things you can do. One is you can go to your lawmakers, but the lawmakers have already passed these laws, and it gives authority to the bureaucracies. And then, and the judges' hands a lot of times are tied to what they're told to do. So, sorry, there was more, but thank you.
Anyone else in the room for public comment? Aaron Derrick, Benton County, and I don't really have anything in particular specifically to talk about. I would like to express my gratitude to the board, to the administrator, just for giving us this platform. Let us come in and raise awareness about these uncomfortable things to talk about. I appreciate that you don't run from questions, and you let us bring light to these things that are happening in Benton County. Yes, there is child trafficking happening in our courts. We do have a pedophile ring here in the Tri-Cities, and shining a light on it is the most important. That's the whole reason we're here. It's got to stop. And, you know, we're realistic people. We have no delusions. We love working with you. We're not asking you to go slap the bracelets on these judges. That's silly. But the energy here is a stark contrast from across the river. We feel welcome here. We feel like you guys care, that you listen, that you actually care about these issues. And I don't think any of you feel afraid of us or threatened by us. So appreciate the three of you. Keep on keeping on.
Good morning, Commissioners. Marcy Torres. And today I'd like to share with you, I was in court this week, and I did sit there through a few cases where judges are still continuing to issue protection orders based on hearsay. And so I'm going to continue to bring that to light because it's important. I also had court this week, and Norma Rodriguez, for the first time ever, didn't even come out. She was supposed to be the judge that morning. Didn't come out, sent Commissioner Clem or Judge Clem to basically recuse all of Mason Pickett's case from her docket that day because she couldn't preside over them. The problem that I find is that I went back to look at all these cases. There was about 8 of them that morning. All of them have been continued since back in April. So what's happening is he puts these cases on the docket and moves them week after week after week after week so he can keep invoicing these clients. If I was doing that in my business, I would probably be in jail right now. But judges are allowing him to continue to do that. And every time it gets moved, someone's getting billed for it. There was one case that I looked at that has been moved 6 different times since back in April. So there's something definitely going on. Norma Rodriguez is finally recusing herself from Mason Pickett's cases, and I'm here to ask today that she starts recusing herself from Brian Roach's cases, because that's her compadre. That's her friend. And she continues to preside over his cases and dismissing a lot of them. So if she's going to be ethical, she needs to do it all across the board, not just when people are calling her out for it. This is a big problem. And there's a reason that the ethics rules are there for her to follow them. They're not a suggestion. If she's ethical, like she said when she was running for judge, she would have done this from the beginning. But no, she waits for people to call her out. I also want to say thank you for being mindful of the taxpayers. You know, I had a meeting or a conversation with Mr. Alvarez, and I asked him about the oversight on money for nonprofits. And he said, well, I just interview them. I sat down and I interview them. I said, that's all you do to give people money? I said, because I can tell you as a business owner, I can't tell you how many times people have come to ask me for a job and they lie on their interview and their resume. But I will find out in 2 hours if they really do know what they're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. If ye be men of God, stand forth. I'm here to make one last attempt to have you all agree to meet with me about the illegal arrest that really happened April 23rd, 2026, not May 8th, 2023. However, that bench warrant was used at that time as well. This arrest is based on the bench warrant issued by your former risk manager, who used to sit in that chair right there, Jennifer L. Johnson. Your Deputy Riddle never read me my rights and put handcuffs on me, and Franklin County is 100% responsible for Jennison's actions, and Deputy Riddle as well. This is a serious issue. My life was turned upside down, and it's still ongoing from the May 8th, 2023 arrest due to Johnson's bench warrant. But the April 23rd, 2026 retold the statutes. So the outrageous conduct that has taken place against this innocent senior should outrage you, men. The list of state violations Johnson has committed against this county and me, this living woman, are these: 9A 60 040 1A2, criminal impersonation. That's a felony. 9A 80 010, official misconduct. She planned in her mind. You can read up the statute. I don't have to tell you about it, but it's not very good. I can tell you that. 40 16 020, injury to record. That's a felony. It carries a 10-year sentence. She's not going to get away with it. I have her signature on Commissioner Jennifer L. Johnson's oath of office from Benton County. It matches the same signature that's on the bench warrant. Okay? So, and also, filing a false statement in an official report, 4220-040, that's to Department of Licensing. 4220-050, public officer making a false certificate. So, she's done these things. I turned in an SF-95 with the dollar amount that I'd like to settle with you for. I'm not ashamed or scared to go into federal court. Jennifer Johnson right now hasn't even responded to a federal summons. That should say something about this former employee of Franklin County. I mean,
I think you have the wrong Miss Johnson.
no, I don't. You need to look at the oaths of office and the bench warrants, please. I'm tired of hearing that from officials.
Well, there's
Thank you.
three of them.
No, you're wrong. She has made the copies, and you guys need to look at them because I am not mistaken.
All right. It's just my leg. I need something. I don't think aspirin's going to do it. Good morning.
Is he okay? You okay? Morning, Commissioners. I just want to take a few minutes this morning to highlight what Mr. Danzel had brought to you last week concerning the need for my additional part-time assistance. Currently, we have one investigator that's part-time. That individual isn't available very often. It's left us in some situations where either myself or my chief deputy's been out of town. We've had to go to autopsy in Spokane, and so we've had no coverage here in the county while we're gone. And that's typically at least a good 6 to 7 hours that we don't have that. So this would be budget neutral. There's no impact on the current budget. Part-time investigators are only paid when they are called, when they are on call or called out. So there's no ongoing salary expense that way. Because of the schedule and things, it's kind of a highly qualified, I guess you would say, position for these individuals. So it is hard to kind of get them to find somebody, and then also to get them to work their schedule the way it is, because it's just kind of an on-call schedule. We don't use them very often, but when we do, we need them. So that's all I wanted to mention to you on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ibuprofen's that. I like to leave.
If she's got to leave, take the leave.
I was going to take both of them. You can take a leave and Tylenol at the same time.
His leg.
No, I'm good.
Go Go ahead, you have 3 minutes for comment.
Thank you. Michelle Andrews, Franklin County. There was a, I guess you'd call it testimony or public comment last week that someone didn't know the difference of what council meant. That person's been in federal court over grand loss of onions, $3 million. She's been in court with former Roger Link, who died before he could give testimony, celebrating they got a summary judgment. The person's been in court more times than I can count. She darn well does know, Mr. Briggs, what council means. And this is the head of, and very active part of Mr. Clint Didier's PAC.
This is the opportunity to provide public comment. This is not
public
a
comment.
forum for airing personal grievances. If you have a public comment, you're welcome to
My
share it
public
now.
comments,
You
the
have
public
3
should know.
minutes.
The public should know that. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Kat Espinda, two-tiered takedown, part of this community. So, it is better for a millstone to be put around your neck and thrown into the depths of the sea than for someone to cause a little one to sin. We have a pedophile ring, a bona fide pedophile ring here in Tri-Cities, and now victims are coming forward who've been in this ring. We have people coming forward who've been raped by prosecuting attorneys here as minors in this town. We're peeling back the rot that is in our government. And we have reoffenders like Jerry Davis getting out in 6.5 years. I think a millstone should be put around his neck and he should be thrown into the depths of the sea. We have gotten away from godly principles. And this is why pedophilia exists. It thrives in silence. We found out that Michael Alvarez failed a polygraph test. And it had to do with the victim and his father that he stated at last week's commissioners meeting. But he didn't answer my question. My question was why he failed that polygraph test. And he, instead of answering the question, which it's a sensitive matter, but again, our children aren't safe. Michael Alvarez seems to know this, yet he continues to cover it all up. We're not going away. And they got really mad last week at us, calling us losers, saying that we're bringing BS. That was Jerome. We're bringing BS. We're all BS. We're all losers here. We're bringing forward children who are suffering. We have investigations not taking place. Mitch Snow can't get one. He visited Sean Sant. They had a big meeting. Nothing's happening. People getting away with pedophilia, rape, and sodomy in this area. So we're going to keep bringing out the truth no matter what. I'm not afraid at all. You want to put a target on this bag? No weapon formed against me shall prosper. So you could try. So we are coming back week after week after week, and we're going to unpeel and reveal all of your dirty little secrets on the public record. It's starting. And we want to thank you for giving us this forum. We appreciate you. We know you can't do everything, but thank you for giving us this time.
Anyone else in the room for public comment?
So Brian Thornhill, and just to give you guys maybe some relief that this will probably be the last time I come up. I don't see myself coming back up here again. And I had 3 pages so I could talk in both sessions. That's not going to happen. But in the last meeting, it was discussed that you guys are going to put maybe out on your website where I put out a request for open public meetings meeting to be listen to the information I had. And The only thing that really, I put in the word must. So in the email, I used the word must. I chose that word carefully. I was expressing my conclusion that based on my understanding of the law and the facts, that was the only one lawful outcome. I was claiming I had the authority to order. I was not claiming I had the authority to order the board on how to vote. My purpose was to obtain a public decision on a public record, so in the open public meeting. So that didn't happen, but I believe it was the February 18th of 2026 this year where I discussed this, and Prosecutor Sant came down and confirmed what I was saying, what I wanted you guys to confirm, that yes, I was right and what was going on was not correct. So on that meeting, the prosecutor confirmed that the county commissioners did not have the authority I had been questioning, and the Commissioner Baumann publicly stated that he did not have that authority either. So the truth finally came out. So that's what's going to come out of that you can use the word, against me must. I didn't demand like was stated later on. So again, you guys make a lot of accusations that are just not truthful and accurate. Not you guys, but some people that are sitting on the other side of you. So thank you guys. Oh, and Mr. Danzel, I'm glad that your health, I don't really want to bring it up, but you said it was improving, so I'm glad that is happening. So.
Anyone else in the room for public comment?
Andy Revis, Franklin County. I too want to thank you guys for, thank you guys for listening and giving us this platform to share what we've been seeing. I was in family court last week again, observing, and the way the family court is set up, people use the children to weaponize their ex. And I've said it right here before. Every situation in family court has a narcissistic ex. Mine just happens to be CPS. And I see it, whether it's CPS or a divorce situation, the children are used, and the children are the ones that suffer. And that's why I'm here, is these children deserve better. And everybody talks about going to legislators, changing laws, and making laws about. And I agree to an extent, but I also know that I'm talking to pro Second Amendment gentlemen here, and you know as well as I do that every gun law only hurts the lawful people. It only hurts us that want to do things lawfully. It doesn't hurt the criminals. I was reading this morning an article about a guy that had his concealed carry permit, and he was outside on a public street watching his daughter's track meet, and somebody called him in, and so he took his gun home and put it in the safe and came back without it. And the next time, a half a dozen officers showed up, and he was forced to leave. He was in a lawful place. He had a lawful permit, but somebody pushed the issue. He was a lawful citizen. Anyone that didn't, someone that wasn't wanting to follow the law could have come in and shot up the track meet. And they didn't care about the law. So that's my analogy there is same thing with family court. You can put all the laws in place, but the crooked judges that want to protect pedophilia don't care. They're not going to, anybody that wants to protect pedophilia or whatever is not going to follow another law. So that's where I'll keep coming back and just bringing it to light. It does get out this way. It does something, and I appreciate that. It is, people are, and I know we're over the target because there's people, trying to discredit me and anybody else that speaks here and anybody else that has spoke out against people doing stuff against the children. So I know we're over the target, and I do appreciate you giving us the time and the opportunity to share here. Thank you.
Anyone else in the room for public comment?
Good morning. My name's Tara Harlow. I've been a local in this. I was born here in this area, and I've worked as a registered nurse for the last 18 years here in the Tri-Cities. I first want to thank you guys for making this a platform that we all feel comfortable speaking. We notice that and appreciate what you're doing. I'm concerned about victims in our area and the ability to find justice when horrible, heinous crimes are committed, especially sex crimes. I've spoke before about what happened to my daughter regarding my ex-husband and the fact that there was evidence, nanny cam footage of what this man was doing to my daughter, and Andy Miller blatantly calling me a liar. And then when I spoke out about it, he filed charges against me, and I spent 18 days in jail. I'm concerned that our law enforcement is corrupt in how they make decisions, because sometimes you go, depending on the officer you get, determines how they respond and whether or not they carry out the law. I've had judges' orders before, and where they've signed off on it and circled the part and initialed the part where they want RPD to give me a civil standby, and yet they refuse. I think they pick and choose what they do and for who they do it. It's concerning. I think there needs to be a deeper look into, the way things are carried out, procedural items and policies maybe need to be rewritten, but it's concerning, and our children are affected and they're our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room for public comment? Hearing seen none, moving on. Approval of consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval of consent agenda items 1 through 4 as presented.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Commissioner Administrator updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, members of the board. I'll start with facilities. There's ongoing projects right now as we talk about the elevator repair project. We also, at last meeting, you heard that there was a request to keep the 4th of July decorations up until Veterans Day. They also have a door identification project that's currently underway. Right now, when we order stuff or we need to get items, supplies into each office, sometimes there's some confusion because there's different suites and different systems throughout different years, and nothing's been kind of all brought together and consolidated, and so that's taking place. We're continuing to have good success with our vendors. And so everything's going kind of status quo as far as the facilities portion goes. On the public records count, in talking with Kim Villacorta, we have 24 pending requests, 11 awaiting clarification from requesters, and 13 updated with active records, timelines, or ongoing installment deliveries. I got to give Kim a shout out. She's doing a great job with the public records. Public Works and Engineering, Director Erdman sent a report to me that the crews are actually performing routine maintenance, blading, mowing, minor repairs, and road striping. Engineering and administration continue progress on CRP 633, the Vineyard Drive East Bridge replacement, the Glenwood Bridge replacement, Glade North illumination improvement, countywide guardrail improvement, Burr Canyon Road, and then the annual budget preparation will be a common theme here coming up. Director McCart sent over a report that he attended the Eastern Washington Council of Governments and Washington Water Futures meetings. He's going to send along some of his thoughts and notes on that here shortly. May have already. Comprehensive plan updates. 4 comprehensive plan elements are being presented to the Planning Commission, or have been presented to the Planning Commission. We're getting there. This brings the total completed to 6 following natural resources and cultural historic preservation in July. All documentation is available on the county website. Remaining elements include transportation, land use, and housing. On permitting, building and planning permit applications continue to arrive at a steady pace and are being processed efficiently. Information services, this is the first day, or the first go-round for Eric Smith as our new Director of Information Services. Really what we're doing with Eric is getting him ready for the preliminary budget. And I just want to throw a reminder out there. I know that Tim Anderson has sent that, but to everybody in county government that all submissions for the preliminary budget are due by Tuesday, September the 4th. So we've got about exactly 1 month that we need to get those in. And if you need help, if there's any kind of request for really the worst thing is just not asking. So if you have questions about how the process works, or if you're unsure about what to do, the worst thing to do is just to not ask. So go ahead and give me a call, give Tim Anderson a call or email. Tim's going to be really busy, so it'd probably be better to kind of direct that elsewhere. So if you have a question, you can go ahead and direct that towards myself. I met with Sheriff Raymond to discuss the possibility of utilizing Enterprise to replace vehicles in the future for the sheriff's fleet, among other issues. Met with Director Isom to discuss the human resources reorganization. And finally, I met with the Accounting Division of the Auditor's Office just to know where we are financially. They're obviously busy with their daily work, but also preparing for the previously spoken preliminary budget. Now, I'll get you prepared for one thing. You won't be able to read it in time when I talk about it in correspondence. But in addition to Mr. Erdman sending over his report, he also sent over an engineering evaluation and guidance for turnouts for slow-moving vehicles. So that's included in your binder also, and you'll see that, but you just probably might not have enough time right here. There's a lot of considerations, a lot of the things go into it, and so anyway, but that's in there for you to take a gander at in correspondence. And you know what, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, there's only one other deal from correspondence. We've got you gentlemen have a letter from the Public Employment Relations Commission, and regarding one of the unions. So that kind of takes care of both correspondence and my update, to be honest with you. But wanted to, in particular, wanted to highlight the engineering behind the slow-moving vehicle turnouts. I know it was of great interest to you. Gentlemen, thank you very much. If you have anything else, let me know.
Thank you. Commissioner Baumann.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I attended the State Auditor's Office entrance conference for the audit of Franklin County. Met with Congressman Michael Baumgardner and State Representative Jenny Graham, and everywhere needs our prayers, especially up around Spokane, as they have lost hundreds and hundreds of homes and I believe more than 800 buildings. And State Representative Jenny Graham lost her home in that fire. And I was listening on the way here this morning, and that fire they estimate to be 0% contained. And it is just devastating up there. Also spoke with our emergency manager, Sean Davis, about that fire, and I've had people reach out to me asking how can they get involved, and so with Sean was able to direct people to emergency management, who is coordinating people that would like to serve and help with that fire. So thank you to Sean for that. Met with Jenny Burton. She runs OutImpact.org, and learning about the opioid crisis that our communities face and mental health issues. And I'm trying to learn. I want to understand what is noise and what is effective. And so I've been spending a lot of time studying, learning, and reading, meeting with people about that. Just got our FEMA hazard mitigation plan for Franklin County with the cities within Franklin Counly, all a part of that. That was reviewed and accepted by FEMA. reviewed the after-action report that FEMA did on the ingestion exercise for the Columbia Generating Station, and that was met with excellent results. FEMA found that we performed well with that. Met with HWL concerning the HAPO, and Mr. Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you. Commissioner Didier.
Yes, the fires in Spokane are very sad because they actually have footage of a man setting these fires. They filmed him, and he has a felony record. We're finding more and more people are just out setting these fires, and they're not caused by natural causes. We also have a governor now that has put a statewide ban on any burning because of these fires, and I'd like to see that governor up the penalty for people who set these fires and not release them from jail. Columbia River Policy Advisory Meeting, Eastern Washington Council of Governments, which Wes attended for me, and I thank him. He was the former chair of this, and he is very well apt at attending that, along with the water issue there that was held down here in the Tri-Cities, which I think we all better be aware of what they're trying to do. Capital Press has an article in here where another farm has been fined by the Department of Ecology, 3 brothers with a ranch because their cattle are by the Ecology fines ranch for grazing cattle along creek. They have hit them already with a fine of $200,000. They're running. Ecology has waged war on the Washington farmer and rancher. We're seeing all these articles where they're just coming in and fining farmers left and right, and we need federal help. We need the federal government to come in and rein in this Department of Ecology that is out of control. They are ruining people's lives and taking away their ranches and their farms through fining them. Another article, analysis, ag losses will deepen in 27. They're predicting that the agricultural industry, with the higher input costs of fertilizer, fuel, and other commodities the farmers got to use, and the commodity prices are going downward the other direction. That's the report I have today.
All right, thank you. Just to comment on your comment with the Department of Ecology, that is a very serious activity that they're taking part of, because they are ruining families' way of making a living with either their cattle, and it's definitely uncalled for. I mean, a lot of ranches, those cattle have been drinking out of those creeks for, hundreds of years. It's just an overstep, and it makes you wonder what their goal is, because if you can't raise cattle, well, maybe you're all going to be eating, plant-based engineered meat, which does not sound appetizing at all to me, but they've obviously have a agenda. Attended the election center last night and had an 18.33% turnout for voters. There'll still be a few more coming in here in the next day or so, but basically 1 out of every, your vote's worth 5 votes, because not everybody's voting. And it's I think a very serious issue that people think that their vote doesn't count. Well, yesterday your vote counted for over 5 votes. And when you're not happy about something and you don't vote, then you really don't have a voice. And just, we run this county on about 7 cents out of every dollar that's collected in property tax. And I believe it's 77 cents goes to your school district. So voting has a lot of repercussions. And when people claim that the rents are too high, well, when your property taxes go up, it's not rocket science. It's going to cause your rent to go up. Anyways, I just wanted to comment on the turnout. I'm sure that the next election will be a little bit higher, but we almost need to have a movement where we maybe say, hey, call 5 of your friends and tell them to vote, just to remind them, because voting has consequences. So anyways, that concludes my report.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Along with that, I'd just like to tell the emphasis of this election. A lot of people don't think this election is important, but we have an opportunity here to swing this Supreme Court of Washington State. There's 4 judges that if we can get through to the final, we could actually take control of the state Supreme Court. And when they view this as being unconstitutional, this millionaire tax, they will not be overturning it if we have a republic, or not a republic, but we have judges with sensibility about themselves. There are 4 judges that we need to get elected, and with 18%, we're not going to make any difference at all. We need people getting out and voting for those judges for this general election.
And all the public comment we've had on judges should tell you how important it is. So, thank you. Well, now, is there any that you get? All correspondences has been taken care of, and then I just have a question for Mr. Briggs. Jen Johnson, that worked here as a risk manager, she doesn't preside on any court hearings.
No, and there's actually 2 Jennifer L. Johnsons. You can look them up on the WSBA websites. There's a total of 6 Jennifer Johnsons, but there's 2 Jennifer L. Johnsons, and unfortunately, they both work in the Tri-Cities. So you have one that's I believe she's a Benton County District Court judge now, and she's also the wife of Alex Johnson, Johnson & Johnson law firm. And then Jennifer Johnson, who used to be our risk manager, works for the Pasco School District.
Right.
So,
but
it's a pretty common name.
It is a very common name,
Yeah.
but I don't think that you can just go be a judge because you're an attorney. You have to be voted in.
Right. Yeah, that's the requirement. Well, and so she's talking about pro tems, and so I believe Alex Johnson's wife, she goes by Jenny Johnson. She used to pro tem for Franklin County District Court.
Okay.
So, and it's been confusing for several defendants in that court system. It's not the first time we've had that mix up. Yeah, but it's just, that could never happen. We would never have a prosecutor pro temping. That would be a conflict for our office. We couldn't do that.
Right. That's what I thought. Thank you for the clarification on that.
Well, Mr. Chairman, there is another way for a judge to become a judge, and that's appointment by the governor.
True.
They can be appointed when there's a step down, and then they have to win election. That's where we're at with these Supreme Court justices. A lot of them have been appointed by the governor, and now it's the time for the people to put them into place.
Thank you. So with that, we'll move on to the second public comment. Is there anyone in the room for public comment? Please come forward and state your name. You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Marcy Torres from Franklin County. And I have been getting a lot of calls from just people in the community like, hey, these judge positions, I don't know anything about them. Who do I vote for? What do you recommend? And so I do have a brochure that I've been sending them to. About 80% of the judges that we have currently presiding over courts, they're appointed, not voted in for that position. So it's very important that we get rid of those judges because they obviously have an agenda, and we have been seeing it through every single hearing that is happening in Benton and Franklin County. So aside from that, I would like to share with you guys that we have been getting a lot of messages and just calls of like just community members bringing up different concerns of things that have happened in their cases with Norma Rodriguez. I had of this one, it says Norma Rodriguez represented my ex-husband in a case where he was charged with child molestation against our 9-year-old. Norma laid down on a couch and asked my ex to lay with her and show her what he did to our daughter. Norma then decided that Since he couldn't touch her, he must not have touched our child. That isn't close to the same size as Norma. 13 years later, my ex still loves to tell this story. I think it was really a turn on for him. She dressed him for court, covered all his tracks and marks in wine-colored silk, button-up shirt to match her stilettos. She's an evil pervert, and that is why she was given the judge position by the other perverse in power. And then someone said, so sad, never did like Norma Rodriguez. She loved to get predators out of being punished for the terrible, nasty things they did to children and others. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. One thing that I wanted to finish saying was, I think that a foundation could be created by a lot of these people, a website too, where people could cite all their grievances and put it on the public sphere. But to create a foundation, a non-governmental organization where you can even get grants to help pay for attorney fees for some people that can't afford attorneys for family court. Those are just some ideas that I'm putting out there because as there's very little that we can do other than you say a vote, but these are just some ideas and thoughts that I had, and my prayers and hearts go out for them. A lot of family that we have live in Spokane that were actually evacuated, and so grateful so far that no one in our family has lost their lives. Some have lost their homes. It's pretty devastating, and this again tells you, how crazy our court system is, because after just 10 years, this man who killed his father for not doing the dishes was let out. I mean, that's insane to me that someone could have such a short time for murder. So just because they're mentally ill, well, that makes them a danger to society too. So anyhow, those are my thoughts. Thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate you.
So we are housing family members from that fire that is directly adjacent to, if you go over from Indian Trails, you go over the top of 5 Mile Prairie and down into Whitworth, and that was my home. There's people there that don't have homes now. 65,000 people displaced is like over half of Pasco. I mean, that's a lot of people. I'm very concerned about where the money's going. I heard Governor Ferguson say 6 counties and 3 tribes. I'm not aware of a lot of fires in Yakima, yet they're getting money, and I'm concerned about that. I'm afraid this is going to become a Palisades, Paradise, California situation. And you do have contacts in our executive layers and many of the steering committees and other legislators to bird dog that money. There's there's the Red Cross, and there's another company I think it's called Inuvia. There's like almost 20 people that are executives on that. And the whole website is very nebulous about how they're into the community. It's just word salad. I'm very concerned. They have a big network, but I really want that money to go to rebuilding these homes. There's a little bit of looting going on up in Suncrest area. We have a lot of National Guard. They need to be posted at major intersections, and I've already contacted Mr. Baumgartner and Dan Bisbee about that. I hope that Franklin Graham comes, because I will get back on board with him and go serve and help those families. That's the highest priority. These are our neighbors and our friends, and there's a lot of first responders that lost their homes in the fire while they had to go out and take care of everything else and everyone else. So whatever we can do for Spokane County at this point that is effective, I would ask you to do. Thank you.
So I wanted to touch bases, Andy Revis again, Franklin County, on a couple of things that I can't remember what was said about the drug court, or the drug use, and the, what's going on here. And the young man up in, up in Spokane that allegedly started the fires. My curiosity is, what's the history on the involvement in family court? How many of these people that are deemed mentally ill are products of the family court and a broken system before they were let out after 10 years? Back to what I was seeing in family court last week, and weaponizing children against a narcissistic ex. The 3 cases I saw in that setting last week, the first one, a mother has been kept from her child, and when they came to court, all the judge did was put sanctions on the attorney because they didn't file the right paper, and pushed it off even longer for this mother to not see her child. I don't know all the backstories or anything, but a child needs a mother. And all the judge did was put sanctions on the attorney because she didn't use the right form. This bureaucracy is ridiculous. It's not helping the children, and that the children is the ones that suffer. The second one, the child was being uprooted and moved clear across the country and moved away from all of her friends in the beginning of the freshman year of high school. And fortunately, with that case, I didn't see the parents throwing each other under the bus, and they were trying to come up with a plan. I appreciated that. The third one, we're out of time. We'll see you in 2 weeks. That's 2 more weeks with no resolution. And we just keep putting it off. And like Marcy was saying, I saw it over and over again. We're just going to continue the case, and months go by with no resolution, and the children are in limbo. And again, I'll say it, the children are the ones that suffer. And with that, it was talked about earlier about the emotional thing, where they watch the emotions. And what parent is not going to be emotional when their child's fate is on the line? And those children catch those emotions, and they go on to act out. I talked last week about a young lady that's facing felony charges in 3 counties from her frustration in the family court system. So that's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room for public comment?
George Dockstutter, South Landing Road. Mr. Denzel brought up that we're getting ready to start our budget for next year. I know you can't comment now, but maybe at the next meeting, you could tell us where we actually stand after 6 months in this year. How much more in the hole are we than what we thought we'd be, or are we better off? Information would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much. Our cash position is about $246,000 less than projected, and that was with paying a full 6 months worth of the juvenile justice former agreement. So when you look forward, George, we believe that we're going to be in a much better position when it comes to the end of the year. But yeah, our cash position is about always typically $8 million. It's still around $8 million, and we are down $246,000, mainly because of what I said in that agreement, but also because some of our sales tax has gone down just a little bit.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room for public comment? Hearing none. I'm just going to add to it, with the fires in Spokane, I did receive a call the other day. Believe it or not, there's 2 Rocky Mullins, and they cannot find the one in Spokane. So if maybe they found him by now, but I know he was a survival instructor at the Air Force Base, but it's not me, if anybody cares.
I did hear this morning. I did hear this morning that everybody that was unaccounted for, there was 14. They have, as of last night, everybody has been accounted for, and so far, they don't believe the fire has caused any direct loss of life at this point.
Well, that is good news. Thank you.
This other fella, was he trying to take credit for the Twinkie thing?
No, but when I used to run the grocery store in Cheney and his wife came in and wrote a check, I had some questions. So anyways, is there a need for executive session today?
No.
All right, thank you. Any other business?
Mr. Chairman, two quick items. Would it be appropriate to, I'm not sure how we need to address the coroner's request. I'm in favor of the coroner's request that he made last week, that he spoke of this morning. Is a motion and a consensus appropriate, or do we need a resolution on that?
Motion and a second is appropriate on that, I believe.
And I forget what the request was, I'm sorry.
It was just it doesn't increase his bottom line, it's to just move, I don't even know if we need anything, frankly, because we're a bottom line, but it's to, Curtis, if you wanted to come up and express.
So yeah, there's already the budget there. It's just a matter of your permission for me to put out that I want to bring these people on part-time. It's not going to affect budget or anything. I think so far this year I've paid $2,000 to the part-time, and I had $8,000 to begin with. So we try to work as much as we can, but we'd like weekends off once in a while and just coverage once in a while. So yeah, that's all.
I'm good with it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept and give authority to the coroner to fill the request that he provided to us last week, which is to provide coverage that's already in his budget in an on-call basis as needed.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion passes unanimously.
And the second thing, Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to say thank you to Mr. Erdman, our Public Works Director and County Engineer, for the draft that we have in front of us for pullouts in Franklin County. I know Commissioner Didier has been talking about this for quite a number of years, and I believe it would be of great value to the public in Franklin County, and I believe it's an opportunity to provide a template for other counties. And so would encourage both of you commissioners to look through this carefully. I already started making a couple of notes here, and thank you, Mr. Erdman, and all of your staff for the diligence that you've put through here. And I look forward to developing this to the point where that we can pass it and put it into our standards, and think that you have a excellent first draft and look forward to the next steps. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. So if there's no other business for the good of the county, this meeting is adjourned.